I am curious your thoughts on Braylen Warren getting another power offer coming from Wisconsin earlier this week too, and how does his recruitment, because going into this season for Braylen, it feels this recruitment is different than what we had seen from Jets before, as Jet is going into his senior year, and what we saw from Zane Flores and maybe even Danny Kalen in there. How unique has Braylen Warren's recruitment process been comparative to other high school quarterbacks from the area in recent years?
It's gone fast. I mean, it's okay. Well, DK got his first offer when he was a freshman from Florida State. Remember that?
I'll say Kalen's probably the closest one, right?
Yeah. And then Nebraska was very reactive on that to offer him, and that was the Frost era when they offered him first. So that's the biggest comparison. But Braylen's gotten more and just keeps getting more and more. So it's gone a lot faster. It's totally it's a lot different. And it's one of those things where, like, Nebraska's pretty locked in on their quarterback position for the next handful of years, right? So as far as the classes are concerned. So is there a spot for Braylen Warren?
I mean, probably not, right?
Probably not. Yeah. Like it's probably not.
In 27, like it's probably just not in the cards.
But even that's why it's so unique, because the past two quarterbacks, counting Jet and Braylen, we're going to see, this feels almost like an unprecedented run where Nebraska football is so set at their quarterback recruitment that it's really open field for every other power school to come into Omaha and openly recruit without having to necessarily worry about the Big Red.
Yeah, that's fair. It's very fair. I will say, as someone that is a champion for kids from Nebraska, I think it's cool.
I agree.
I think it's awesome that, like, hey, the more the merrier. Like, come in, whatever. And Husker fan can hate me for that, but I'm for kids. So, like, yeah, if Nebraska isn't going to take them, then somebody else takes them, and it's cool. And now they have to go be successful. Mm-hmm. Like, they have to go be successful so that other schools will keep coming back to the state to recruit, because if they're not, it doesn't work. It's kind of like, so it's this conversation with, like, what's Nebraska doing in state recruiting and why not and all this stuff. Well, they've struck out. Like Nebraska, the last handful of years, if you look at in-state kids that they've taken, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked out. Yep. Are they taking the wrong kids that don't fit their culture or things like that? Maybe. Mm-hmm. Are they taking kids that maybe turn out to not be good enough? Maybe. I do believe that there is something to be said for the in-state pressure of, like, if you're the big time guy and there's your recruit, and it doesn't work out, there's a lot more pressure and questions via social media, etc., that, like, oh man, like, I thought this person was supposed to be this, and then they aren't. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, to be honest, the best example of that, or most recent example, is Thomas Fedoni. Yeah. Because remember in high school, like, that guy was the number one rated tight end ahead of Brock Bowers, and everyone thought, oh my gosh, we got hurt. Like, sometimes that happens, right? Mm-hmm. So, but people were still like, oh, he's terrible. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, the 3 ACL surgeries. What do you want from the guy? Right. Yeah. So it's one of those, it's that kind of local pressure piece that is a little bit harder. Now, I don't know in recruitment how throughout the recruiting process, how you measure that mental toughness, right? Because that's a different mental toughness than I got to fight through an injury, or I'm banged up, or I need to practice harder, or whatever. That's a different mental capability there. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to weigh that, or if you just maybe you weigh it by, like, hey, this person's not, like, on social media all the time, posting all this random stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that's maybe a red flag, right? To be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's how you measure that mental toughness, because if they're not on it all the time, The best example of that is Isaac Gifford. Like, that dude's not, like, ever. Like, like, he's just not. Like, he's just not his thing. He has it and is, but not like that. Never was. Not even in high school. That just wasn't him. And that's probably one of the tougher guys that was on the team the last handful of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we didn't really get to it during the show. We were talking about during the break a little bit, though. We were talking with Tim Verghese earlier in the show about in-state recruiting for football specifically, and how I do think there is a specific mindset that Nebraska looks for in their, not just their in-state recruits, but in all their recruits. But you brought up a really good point with outside of the regular temperament that they're looking for their recruits and the fit culture-wise, I do think there is that little bit extra. Like there's certain kids in the state, and this doesn't mean that they're good kids, bad kids, won't succeed, will succeed, whatever, that maybe just mentality-wise, Nebraska is like, maybe that's not the best fit for them. And we've seen a lot of really talented guys that just didn't get offers really from Nebraska, or didn't get recruited heavily after they got an offer, that go to other power programs, and you go like, okay, what happened there? I do think that in-state pressure and general mentality of that is a huge factor, and that we just haven't really talked about that much with some of these guys.
Yeah, I think there's 16 kids that are going to FBS right now in the 2026 class. I think the number 16, maybe
I think that's right,
off 1 or 2 or something. And Nebraska offered 2.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
Darian Jones and Jace Reynolds.
Sorry, 3. The Isaac Jensen, Darian Jones, and Jace Reynolds. Yeah. Sorry, 3 of that 16 is they just offered.
Yeah, even offered.
So, like, are those guys more of the fit of what they're looking for? Maybe, probably. Like, and you know what? That's okay. Doesn't have to be right for everybody. But like, some of those guys are really talented too. Like,
they are. Yeah, they are for sure.
Really talented and really good. But does it have to be a fit? No. And also, like, let's maybe try and do something different and see if it works, right? Because, think of the last. Well, okay, Cam Jurgens is the last guy that probably was like, a star on the team. For that as an in-state recruit, right? Am I missing anyone? Like,
I don't think so.
What's the parameter?
Obviously Gifford was a multi-year starter, but was kind of maligned a little bit in terms of his play sometimes. Obviously,
you'd probably be one of those 2.
Yeah, I guess Fedoni's not technically in state, right? But
I claim that guy. Yep, we're claiming him. Yeah,
Phelan Sanford, go there.
I mean, not highly recruited.
Ty Horn,
I mean, John Bullock.
John Bullock is a good one.
John Bullock,
John Bullock,
he's a walk-on.
Yeah, very unheralded coming through. It's a very different experience with no expectations, and ended up being successful than it is with the pressure from right off the bat. So